Jinger Duggar shares traumatic experience during filming Counting on Alum. Jinger Duggar Vuolo is back with a new podcast episode with her husband, Jeremy. The married couple returned to their podcast after years of hiatus. Many fans were also surprised that they debuted their first comeback episode in their new Los Angeles home. But what caught the attention of many was Jinger's latest story, featuring her traumatic experience during the show. Keep reading to see what happened. Counting on, Jinger Duggar returns to podcast in their new home last month. Jinger uploaded her first podcast episode with Jeremy after years of hiatus. The Counting on Alum immediately talked about their decision to relocate. Many fans were puzzled by how the two quickly left their Los Angeles home, especially after all the upgrades and renovations they did. However, the married couple was so happy about their new home, revealing they still live in Los Angeles. Jinger also said that there are still tons of projects to work on in their new home, which looks like a monastery based on its interior. It was later revealed that the house was owned by the Masters University and Seminary, where Jeremy is a pastor. Jinger shares traumatic experience during filming. In an Instagram post, Jinger shared a clip from the latest episode of her podcast, in which she talks about her traumatic experience during the filming of their reality show. According to the former Counting on star, they were out to try horseback riding in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. Everything was going well, and she was informed about all the dos and don'ts of horseback riding. However, Jinger Duggar Vuolo revealed that nobody mentioned that the horse she was riding was scared of water due to this. The horse ended up bucking and panicking when it passed over a small body of water. The mother of two revealed that she was terrified during that moment and felt like the horse's bucking took forever. Jinger confessed that she's been afraid of horses since then because they were unpredictable. Counting on, Jinger Duggar speaks out on daughter's privacy. Jinger also took the opportunity to discuss the privacy she has given her kids in one of her podcast episodes. According to the Counting on Alum, they've been asked many times why they keep their daughters' faces away from the cameras. Jinger Duggar Vuolo explained that they do not know enough about the internet and all the possible things it could do to her family, especially her kids. She also shared her experience growing up with cameras around her as a kid, and it's something that she doesn't want Felicity and Evangeline to experience. Jinger Duggar Vuolo, a member of the famous Duggar family, has always had her life under the public's microscope. As one of the stars of the hit reality TV show 19 Kids and Counting, and later Counting On, she grew up with cameras constantly documenting her every move. While her family was portrayed as close-knit, conservative, and centered around strong Christian values, Jinger's personal journey diverged in unexpected ways. Recently, she opened up about a traumatic experience that occurred during the filming of the show, shedding light on the pressures of growing up in the spotlight and the challenges of balancing personal growth with public expectations. A childhood in front of the camera, the Duggar family first became known to the world in 2004, when their large and unconventional family of 19 children gained the attention of TLC. Jinger, who was just a teenager at the time, found herself thrust into the world of reality TV. While some might have embraced the fame, Jinger has since admitted that the experience wasn't always as pleasant as it may have seemed. People watched us grow up, but they didn't realize how much was happening behind the scenes, Jinger revealed in a recent interview. What they saw on TV was a very curated version of our lives. There were things we weren't allowed to show, emotions we were told to suppress. The Duggar children were raised in a strict religious environment with limited exposure to the outside world. The family followed a set of rigid rules, particularly when it came to gender roles, dating, and dress codes. Jinger, known for her adventurous and curious spirit, often felt constrained by the expectations placed on her both by her parents and the show's producers. Pressures of reality TV. Jinger's recent revelations came as part of her ongoing journey to distance herself from the beliefs and practices of her upbringing. In her memoir, Becoming Free Indeed, Jinger shared her inner struggles with the rigid teachings of the Institute in Basic Life Principles, IBLP, a fundamentalist organization that her family followed closely. The pressure to conform to these teachings, coupled with the demands of filming, created an intense internal conflict for Jinger. I was constantly aware of how I was supposed to behave, she shared. There was always this pressure to smile and be the perfect Duggar daughter, even when I was hurting inside. One of the most harrowing moments, Jinger recalled, was an incident during her teenage years. The family was filming an episode in which they were visiting a local event, and the producers wanted Jinger to perform a specific activity that she was deeply uncomfortable with. Despite her objections, she was pressured to go along with it for the sake of the show. "I remember feeling this overwhelming sense of dread," she said. "I was crying inside, but I couldn't show it. The cameras were rolling, and I had to pretend like everything was fine. I felt trapped, like I had no voice." Isolation and suppression. What made the experience even more painful for Jinger was the sense of isolation that accompanied it. She revealed that while her siblings were going through similar struggles, there was little space for them to express their emotions or support each other. The environment within the family and the filming process discouraged vulnerability. "We weren't allowed to talk about what was really going on," she explained. "If you were struggling with something, you were told to pray about it and trust God. There wasn't any room for questioning or doubting." This culture of suppression, Jinger believes, contributed to her traumatic experience. Not only did she feel pressured by the producers, but she also felt that her family's expectations of her role on the show made it impossible for her to voice her concerns. "There were times when I wanted to scream, but I couldn't," Jinger admitted. "I was supposed to be this obedient daughter, always smiling and following the rules. It felt like I was losing myself." Breaking free despite these challenges, Jinger eventually found the strength to begin carving out her own path. In 2016, she married Jeremy Vuolo, a former professional soccer player turned pastor. The couple moved to Los Angeles, far away from her family's home in Arkansas, and Jinger started exploring new ideas and beliefs. This move marked a turning point in her life, as she began to challenge the rigid teachings she had grown up with. Jinger's decision to step away from the more conservative aspects of her upbringing has not been without controversy. Some of her family members have expressed disappointment with her choices, particularly when it comes to her more modern approach to faith and lifestyle. However, Jinger has remained steadfast in her journey towards self-discovery and healing. "I had to learn how to listen to my own voice," she said. "It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I couldn't keep living for other people's expectations, whether that was my family, the producers, or anyone else." In recent years, Jinger has been more open about her struggles and the trauma she endured during her time on reality TV. She hopes that by sharing her story, she can inspire others who may be going through similar experiences to find their own path to healing. A message of hope. Jinger's traumatic experience during the filming of 19 Kids and Counting is a stark reminder of the darker side of reality TV. While audiences may see the glossy, edited version of events, the reality for those involved can be far more complex and painful. For Jinger, the pressures of growing up on camera, combined with the rigid expectations of her family and faith, created a deeply challenging environment. However, Jinger's story is also one of hope and resilience. Despite the trauma she endured, she has managed to break free from the constraints of her past and forge a new path for herself. Her journey toward healing is ongoing, but by sharing her truth, she is helping to shed light on the hidden struggles of reality TV and the importance of personal authenticity. "I want people to know that it's okay to question things, to struggle, and to find your own way."